Good morning, everybody. It's Nathan and Crosby. Crosby, where'd you go? Never mind, he decided to run off somewhere else. It is a cool, brisk fall morning. We've been picking corn. There is an engine fan bearing that has been a little loose on the combine, and I'm going to try to replace it before going back to cutting. Hey, pal. Say hi. I don't know where you run off to, goofy pup. You're a goofy, lanky pup. Don't jump. I'm gonna get Dad's feed wagon out of the shop so that I can park the combine in front. Kendall's down here starting his chores. How was your night's sleep, 9610? Ready for a good day today, I hope. The 9600 was not up to the task of picking corn. Had to break down on us, so we moved to the 9610, which I was gonna do this work on the 9610, like kind of while we were picking corn, I guess, but things don't go that way. So it got put off, and then we needed this combine because the other one is at the shop. In here, this bearing seems awful loose. So I went through all that, and I think I could have just pulled this pin. Although it would have been pretty tight, but yeah, probably definitely should have done that. Why didn't you tell me to just do that? I'm gonna see if I can get this pin out. Where can I clamp this? Looks like some raccoons made a visit last night. It's nice of them. Probably not the best. Okay, we gotta get those 4 bolts out. 2 years ago, I had to do the same bearing on our other combine, but it was during wheat harvest and it was like 100 degrees outside. So at least it's not that hot. It's a little on the chilly side. I think I was wrong again. And there's actually a nut on the back side of here that I might be able to just take off. So that was a waste of time. Always pays to look even closer. Okay, I got it out. I did end up having to take out those 4 bolts and 3 bolts here to take the whole thing out because I didn't want to slide off the end and it seemed like it was going to be really hard anyways. So here we are. Oh, my knees hurt. I need a coffee break. I hope the rest is simple because I'm already farther into this than I thought it was going to be. Bearing wasn't out, the shaft was more, so Dad and I kind of rinky-dink fixed this. We got back in there, going back on with the belts. Okay, I think we're ready. Do this. Back at it again. So this corn is like officially the most bushels per acre we've ever raised on any piece of ground around here. Combine with the yield monitor broke down, but from what I figured, The irrigated part of it is doing like 190 bushel an acre, I think, which is pretty exciting. We had a really good corn year, and we had water to pump on here to help it finish off. We're not used to this here in Kansas. Late. L-A-T-E, late. Out time. Come on. SMH. Back in the cornfield today, finishing up our last field of corn. Somebody forgot to close the door. Usually we try to harvest corn first, then soybeans, then milo. This year we started with corn. We started with corn, and then we switched to soybeans, and then we ran into some wet soybeans, so we went back to corn. But then the milo was starting to fall down, so we switched to milo, and then we went back to finish the beans, and now we're back to finish the corn. And then from here we'll go finish our full season milo. And then after that, we will have our double crop soybeans, followed by our double crop milo, followed by sunflowers. So definitely a complicated approach this year. You guys are probably confused compared to somewhere like the I-States, where it's like we harvest soybeans, then we harvest corn, or vice versa. So we have lots of crops here, also some double crops. Our planting dates can be as early April or as late as mid-July. So it can be kind of chaotic in the fall. But what's nice is that we're approaching kind of that light at the end of the tunnel stage of harvest, where we can see the end. We're well over halfway. We've got about 40 acres of corn left here, probably about 300 some acres of milo, followed by however many acres of double crop we have. So less than 2 weeks left, probably a week and a half-ish. We're not out of the woods yet, but we can see the end of the tunnel. So I'm running grain cart duty today. Our other combine actually broke down again. We actually had a small combine fire this morning. A fuel line started leaking and it caught on fire. Luckily, I was able to drive it over to a grass waterway and put out the fire with water we had in the cab. It could have been pretty bad, but there was no damage to the 9600. It was just burning the diesel that was back there. And so it didn't burn any hoses or anything. And Nathan is working on repairing the fuel line, and then we'll get that combine in the 7720 going in milo. But we're going to finish corn today just with this one combine and the grain cart. So yeah, it was a kind of a scary morning. You know, farm safety is always kind of in the front of our minds. You know, trying to make it through harvest. And after our neighbor Zach got burned so badly, you know, that's always. Think about that as well, and just how anything like that could happen to anybody. And so yeah, when I smelled smoke, I just headed for the waterway, and again, it wasn't a huge ordeal, but it could have been if the wind would have been worse. We were also close to a creek, and so I had a 5-gallon jug of water in my truck. Kendall had one in the semi. He was there at the field too, and then we were able to refill both of those in the creek. We had put out the flames in the back, but we were able to go and refill those to put out kind of the smoldering smoke, just really wet it down. So again, once we have the fuel line fixed, it should be running again, no problem. There was no damage really, but scary. It's been really nice having this Topcon Digistar scale to measure the grain we're putting in the grain cart. So every time we dump in the grain cart, that number there goes up, and then when we're ready to dump from the grain cart into the truck, this scale will recognize when it's unloading, and it'll keep track of how much we've unloaded into the truck versus how much is still in the grain cart. And it really helps with keeping track of, you know, we're in the big pivot field, and we've put that much into trucks from this field. All right, so when it comes to unloading here at the truck, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the PTO on here, and then as I rev it up,
This says start unloading, so it recognizes that I'm about to unload. And then I'll go ahead and open the gate. And it starts unloading into the semi now that the gate is open back there. And then this is measuring how much weight is being put into the semi. So a few of the benefits of a grain cart scale would be like each field we're in, we're going to know the exact amount of pounds that came off of that field. So the yield, the bushels per acre. You can also know exactly how much corn is going in your grain bin, which is what you saw in the last video we did for corn harvest, where we were putting the corn into the grain bin. So we know exactly how much we put into our grain bin. It's not really a guesswork thing anymore. It's not really an estimate. You know exactly what's in there. And so that can be really good for documentation. All right, got the semi full here. I'm gonna take it to town. Kendall's got that truck over there to fill while I'm gone. We don't have a grain cart driver for the moment. Nathan's still working on the other combine at the home place there, and I think Dad's feeding cattle. And my mom should be back soon to take this next truck in. This corn is close to 200 bushel an acre. This is irrigated corn, and so probably the best corn we've ever raised. So it's been hard to keep up today, but I'm going to take this load in. It'll probably be dark when I get home, so I'm not in too much of a rush now.